do you need to be good at the kind of games that you make? And that got asked of me the other day, and I would say no, but you have to understand what being good is. And this is a problem we actually struggled with a little bit on the Left 4 Dead 2 team, and I would get a little frustrated. And that is, we actually played community members once, and they beat us. I just remember Cat. It's a British group. Cat, I'll get you one day. But our team played like some people play internally. So not everyone plays like this way, but they played really try to slow and methodical. And in versus mode, the longer you're in the map, the harder the map becomes. So you want to go through it as fast as possible. And this is actually, I think, a flaw in Left 4 Dead's versus mode, that it becomes this, there's this golden path, stay on that path, don't deviate, work exactly this way. You can go 2v2 and it works fine. And it becomes this toxic thing if you veer off of that, because people are like, what are you doing? This is how we lose. We're going to win if we just stay this way, right? And everybody gets to the safe room and like all of this, right? There's some mods that help counter this, but like Dana Cruises, we purposely did this where you can't just go 2v2 because there could be two end caps. One thing can end cap multiple people. So how you have to approach that problem is different. And we worry about the speeders and how we handle that. And we also have things come from behind, which is one way you handle speeders, oddly enough, because you make them come back instead of always going forward. Because if you're always jumping on the person in front, everyone's going to run by that person anyways and be able to get them. All right, but so we lose this, and I try to, we lose playing Cat. And I'm trying to explain this to the team of, like, you're going too slow. Like, people don't play this way. This one person in particular would just drive me nuts when we played internally. I'm like, nobody plays the game the way you're playing it. You're playing a different game. Now, if you want to make that game, we need to do work to make that game work. But that's not how people are playing it out in the real world, so let's go play with them, right? And it was interesting because this is kind of also Scavenge Mode failed in the same way, because Scavenge Mode works really well and it's a fun game if you're really communicative with your team, if you're really having a lot of back and forth. But if you're just playing with random strangers, it's just hellhole because it splits you up on purpose, right? And that just doesn't work. So, lesson learned. But with that, I'm kind of curious of, well, I mean, I know you can make a game that you're not really good at. And I know it. And we played a bunch of Left 4 Dead last night, which is why I barely have a voice, because we were playing a bunch of spooky maps. And that was fun, and a bunch of community maps. And it's funny because the community maps are a lot harder than the maps that I know, just because I know them versus not knowing them. And just that more time in the world means more damage, more pain, and like all of that. So that was interesting to see that reinforced. And we don't really run through them, so it's co-op though. Like if we were playing Versus, we'd play a little different, because in co-op I know Dan's going to run ahead. He'll have twice as much damage as I do. Jet will be behind me. Jet will kill twice as many specials as I do. I will have the least amount of kills and specials, but I will have some weird things in there, and I'll probably heal the most people, and I'll have the least amount of damage. So it's like all these different roles come up, and those are cool to have those roles. So it's not like you have to play exactly the same, but even on that team, we know our roles, and as we go forward, we're aware of them. And again, I think Left 4 Dead just does a bad thing of like, when you jump in that person ahead, you know you're going to go that way. You know you're going to save them, versus if you pull people from behind like we do in the Anacrusis, or have a threat that's multiple threats versus just one and go, because we were always worried in Left 4 Dead that like if the smoker could grab and down multiple people, you would never go rescue that person because you'd always be scared of the smoker. I think players have changed on that one. So that's interesting to see, I guess, as well, as I'm thinking about this more and talking about it, is players change as well over time. And so that's kind of, the Anacrusis was a response to that player change over time. I should put it on sale again so I can get new people into play, and we're doing the community stuff. Yeah, we're doing a fundraiser Saturday, if I get my voice back, as part of that. Maybe I'll do a sale in the beginning of the month. I have just been out with all this voice sickness, cold, Cleveland travel. Just to show you, just to prove it to you, I'm sick. But yeah, it's interesting that, I mean, it's 15 years, and I'm still learning stuff and still understanding stuff about the game that I worked on and things that I want to do. But I do wonder if that kind of run and gun stuff is over, and we need to go into another space. And we wanted to go into another space a little bit with the Anacrusis, and we didn't quite get there. That's my fault. Yeah, there you go. Hope you have a good Halloween. There's my Halloween kitties. Oh, oops, they're there. So yeah, see you later.